Hi guys, and welcome back to Archie Hamilton Racing, and welcome to another video where today we have got a few things to talk about. That is absolutely correct, because you may have seen on social media, what was it, probably 2 weeks ago now, there was a huge crash at the Nurburgring. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago. Anyway, there was a huge crash, and there is a problem with that place at the moment in terms of how many crashes are happening. Now, what I'm going to do from a racing driver's perspective, I'm going to talk you through, the issue which happened with the crash with the M2 and the Porsche. And I'm also going to talk to you about the issue I have with the Nurburgring and why so many people are crashing at that place. It's causing a huge problem for the local people, and there, I think, are quite a few answers which I know why this is happening. But anyway, we're going to talk all about it. So let's get cracking. Now, first things first, apologies for the quality of this video. There seems to be only footage of this in vertical form. So there is a clip which I have got, which has basically moved it into YouTube form, but it has meant that it's a little bit blurry. So this crash was a GT3 RS which was approaching an M2. Now, this was on a tourist day. Tourist day basically means that this is a day where you can turn up in your van, you can turn up in any car, pay your, 30, 40 euros, whatever it is, to do one lap. So you might have people on that day that have done 100 track days. You might have people on that day that have never been around a track. You might have people on that day that are just, they've been around there, but they're getting their eye in and they're starting to build it up nicely. Anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is you get a wide range of people. It's not a track day. So this is the problem. And I think that's one of the problems which lies, that people treat it as a track day. No one's driving around here thinking it's a flipping motorway. And that's another problem that I have. But anyway, we'll go on to that in just a second. The car is turning into this fast right-hander, right? It's turning in. And yeah, this is where I think the problem lies. So he's looking through the corner, but he's coming in the GT3 RS. Okay, we're going to play it at full speed, and he's coming up against this M2, right? I'm going to leave it there. As you can see, right, this M2 is driving for the first time around here. Now, he's just driving along, right? And this car, this GT3 RS, is doing 170 kilometers an hour. So he's going pretty quick. But this M2 is learning where he's going. Now, we're coming into a left-hander here, and I'm pausing it again. It's just narrowing up massively. Now, for sure, the M2 should have been more to the right, if we're going to look at it from that way. But if you're in the GT3 RS's position, right, why would you take that risk to do that? Like, why would you take the risk to be there? Because let's say the guy hasn't seen you and you haven't got an indication from him. You're risking everything. You're risking a 300 grand car plus killing yourself. I said on Instagram and on other platforms as well that I think the GT3 RS is in the wrong. And everyone went mad. They're like, what the hell do you think you know about it? And I was like, well, I know quite a lot about it, funnily enough. I am qualified. The only reason I think that, it's not solely on the GT3 RS, but the only reason I thought that at the time is because he could have just waited. If he waited 15 seconds, this whole thing would have been avoidable. But the M2 on the outside could have also, he could have indicated yes to stay right more, but he always runs out of room because the left-hander, you've got to turn in at some point. Another thing. When I was racing at Le Mans and the 24 hours, the driver's briefing, there's something which people always said, the stewards, the race directors. The faster cars will get around you. Just drive your line. Don't come offline, don't change it, nothing like that. Stay on your line. Don't move for anybody. And that is the best advice, because you have amateur drivers, and if they start moving out of the way, you have huge crashes. The closing speed is huge, and the driver who's coming through will not be ready for your sort of sudden movement or whatever, because they're committed. It's the same thing here. The faster car will get past you. But there is an element of respect, and I think the GT3 RS was wrong, really. He was the faster car. The M2 is wrong as well. I think they're both wrong, but I do believe if the GT3 RS just waited, you don't need to be taking that risk. And then the rear gets clipped. He's right up on the curb. He can't go any more to the left. The rear gets clipped and it's gone. And at that point, there is no coming back. The car's gone. And it's gone in the wall so fast. This footage scares the absolute life out of me. That is an aeroplane crash. And how anyone survived that, I genuinely have no idea. Like, I don't know how the GT3 RS guy has survived, or even the M2. With normal seat belts, everything else, it's pretty incredible that these cars, people escape them. So I think the GT3 RS probably had the bigger impact. So that's probably a good thing in terms of safety, but the whole front end is gone and stuff like that. Now, my biggest problem at the moment, what is happening around there, is people are watching videos online, they get in their car and they go straight to the Nurburgring for a bit of fun, as you rightly should, to go and drive around there. But they don't know where they're going, which is fair enough, it's fine, it's just a tourist day. But I just think people are driving too fast too soon. It's causing massive crashes around there. And I do think something needs to be done about it. And I said this to somebody else the other day. I said, well, what about a briefing? What about a briefing to brief everybody? Overtake on the left, maybe. There needs to be, maybe people need to indicate before they overtake. Would that save a load of crashes? And then that person who goes to the Nurburgring lot said, well, that actually turns it into a track day if you have a briefing. And this is a public road. Okay, yes, it is a public road, but it's not a public road. Come on, let's just be real. Let's just be real that people don't go there to drive on a public road. They drive there because it's one of the fastest racetracks in Europe, and you can pay 30 euros and you're on a racetrack. That is why people go there. It's a fact, and let's not beat around the bush. And then people think that suddenly they're qualified to go 100% around there, and they don't know where they're going, or they don't know what certain curbs, or they don't know certain, different things. First of all, it takes years to learn this place. Years. Like, I had a teammate, we were racing together in the Porsche series, the International GT Open series. He took me around there, and I was like, flipping hell, mate. Like, are you all right? This is insane. He spent, 5 days a week? 6 hours a day driving around the place. He knows every single curb. Bang, 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 bang. And I think the problem comes where people go around there, go too fast too soon, they don't have the approach of let's go and learn it, and they get in a situation where they're not insured, cars are, getting written off. There's been some huge crashes recently. There was another one the other day. I came across some other video of someone writing off their M2 and they're upside down. And it all comes from just not knowing where they're going, and just too fast too soon. So I personally would like to see change. What change would there like to be? It's so hard because everyone's going to just say, well, just go a bit slower or do this, do that. I think one of the solutions I had in my head was the fast supercars almost need their own session to go out there, because a GT3 RS coming up against a van, three people in a van, not knowing where they're going for a bit of fun. It's just, bonkers. But I do think there needs to be some sort of change, because people have been killed there every year, and someone got killed there, I think. It's just all of this stuff, it's actually just turning into a problem. And from a racing driver's perspective, I just think something needs to change. And that situation for itself is really, really bad. And lucky that, everyone is okay. Obviously the car, the cars are replaceable. But yeah, I think I've seen a lot of videos of people going out there, like going way too fast into a corner, and they just crash. And you're just like, Well, that was always going to happen because in the UK, if you went out on a track day, you build up to it. You don't go out there and do that. It doesn't happen really in the UK. People do build up to it. But I think because of the nature and the speed of this track and the accessibility of it for a sort of tourist day or whatever, people just go out there flat out. Flat out. And then they just go, oh, hang on a minute. Ooh, bang. Didn't know where I was going. I've gone first thing in the morning. I've decided to go flat chat and I've ended up in the wall. It's just all of this stuff happens. So, question, what would you like to see change at the Nurburgring if you were just a general person learning the track? I think that's what it comes down to. Let's say you are a general person just going there and learning the track. What do you want to see? Not the purists that think they know every single thing curb and they just end up in the wall. No, the people that want to just go there and have a nice time. What do you want to see? Because it's a tourist day. The track days, all the people that know every single curb and know where they're going, do the track day. Flipping hell. Go there, because that is perfect. You know where you're going, you know what you're doing. So that for me is, yeah. Let me know what you think. Hopefully that cleared it up. I do like doing these videos when I see something and I just, I want to have my point and get my point across. And it's infuriating that everyone thought I was wrong. And I'm like, why am I wrong? Do you know what I mean? I don't believe I'm wrong. I just have an opinion on this. And that is my opinion. So let me know what you want to see. Get it in the comments and I'm going to have a little read. And hopefully if you're going there, just drive safe. Build up to it. You're going to have a great time. But build up to it. Learn where you're going and then start to push a couple of hours later when you know a little bit more where you're going, a couple of days later. Go there. And timing. This whole timing thing. Leave it to the pros. The timing thing. Like, the pros are the people that need to get timed because they're doing lap records. It takes years to get to that time. So just don't time it and enjoy it. See you for the next video.